Around, don't get caught in the mosh pit. Fuel to the fire, ain't nobody can stop it. Trouble in my city, but you know I'm across it. Got a 40 on my hip and I'm liable to spark it. Throw down these hits, my click is indivisible. I aim, you duck, I squeeze, now you invisible. I'm not afraid of getting physical. All these different chemicals are fogging up my visuals. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we notorious, we ain't no runners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we some warriors, they ain't called gunners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Put on my strap, put on my beat, put on the map, put on my team. Take out every motherfucker in between, know what I mean? Better myself, better my aim, better my rap, better my name. Killing rappers on my hang, I'm by their chains for the fame. Never thought I would, and now I'm running. You know what I'm running.
What's going on? What's going on? Good evening and welcome to another broadcast of Steve the Kidney Nurse. I'm your host, Steve Belcher. Thank you for joining. Look, guys, share this broadcast. I don't know how many times I got to keep saying this. Please share this broadcast because I think there's not enough people this broadcast is reaching that should be hearing a message of hope and education, especially with regard to diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, or lupus, or any one of those hypertension, if I didn't say it, or any one of those chronic diseases that plagues Black America and America as a whole. All right. So tonight, I want to be talking about Blacks, diabetes, kidney disease, and strokes, but mainly strokes and what puts you at risk of having one. Now, if you have diabetes, okay, if you got diabetes or kidney disease, you're at a much higher rate of having a stroke than someone who doesn't have these diseases. And I want to thank my crew from TikTok for watching. Really appreciate you guys. And then the people who always come on here on Facebook and YouTube. Latasha, Margaret, Miss Patrice, and some names that I'm not calling out. Let me see if they're on here that I didn't mention. Steve Graham, Federico Aquino, he's in the house. Thanks, Federico. Federico is also a kidney warrior. And his story, you got to hear. This is just a sidebar on my friend Federico. He donated. Okay. Now, this is just a little short story before I talk about strokes, about Federico, because this guy is a true kidney warrior, right? He's on Facebook, Federico Aquino. He's a kidney warrior, and he donated did a podcast. He was on my podcast a year ago. He donated his kidney to his brother in New York back in the 90s. Okay. And you know how now I'm for donation, all that, but be truthful when you talk about if somebody's going to get a kidney if they donate. And what I mean by that, Federico donated a kidney to his brother. And you know, when they tell you if you donate your kidney, you're going to go to the top of the list. We're going to put you to the top. We're going to make sure that if you ever need a kidney, we got you. And my man Federico fell through the cracks and he needed a kidney. And now everybody's twiddling their thumbs and he still doesn't have a kidney. And it's been maybe 5 or 6 years now that he's been on dialysis. And he's developed other complications, right? Like pain, because we know a lot of kidney warriors had pain. And then when he tries to resolve that with marijuana or medicinal purposes, now they tell him he can't be on the list. So, hey, Stephanie Mo Davis, what's going on? So this happens all across when it comes to if you donate, you want to make it doesn't happen like that. Like, don't let them have you thinking if you donate. And I'm not trying to discourage nobody. So let me start from right there. This is not a discouragement. This is just a reality check. When they say if you donate, you're going to go to the top of the list. It's not like if you donate and if you need a kidney, it's not like soon as your kidney fail, we got one on standby waiting for you in the next room. It don't work. You got to go through the same process. They got to find a match for you. And then what about the other people that's on the list? So it's really complicated. But just don't think that if you donate and if you need an organ when it's your turn to receive one, that it's going to happen overnight, because it don't work that way. It takes a little time, and I'm sure a lot of people know that. But unfortunately, with Federico, he fell through the cracks, and that's what angers me, because he donated to his brother, and they assured him in New York should have been followed. He's not in New York anymore. He moved across the country, but he should have been followed. So, little side story. But thank you, Federico, for coming on and sharing your story on my show. So let's talk about a stroke. You may want to know, hey, what's up, Veronica? Oh, and again, congratulations to Veronica, who's watching on TikTok. She just recently had a transplant. Now, again, a little side note. This is incredible because miracles can happen. Veronica was called maybe about 2 months ago, around Christmas time, for, I think it was Christmas or Thanksgiving, for a kidney. She packed up, she was happy, went down to the hospital, had blood drawn, and then come to find out it was not going to happen. And that crushed her. But she kept her faith. You see all on TikTok, just really still praising God. She could have been angry or mad. And now, just maybe less than a month or so, she received a transplant. You see how it can turn? So don't lose faith or hope if you're on the transplant list, because you just never know. It's almost like hitting the lottery. You just never know. So let's talk about a stroke. All right, because this is a serious topic that doesn't get talked about, but you see a lot of people affected by it. You see somebody who may be paralyzed on one side and they walking with a cane. Okay, you may experience someone who speech is slurred now, or side of their face is paralyzed because they had a massive stroke. And a lot of times we don't question it, like what caused it. And there's some people who have diabetes may have what they call a mini stroke. But we don't look further into what's causing this. Why am I having a stroke? Why does so-and-so have a stroke? Why is it so prevalent in the Black community? This is not to say that white Americans don't have strokes, but it's more prevalent in the Black community. So what is a stroke? You may be asking. A stroke is a disease that affects the arteries leading to and within the brain, as you can see on my picture on TikTok. I have a picture of a brain as my background picture with a shaded area where the stroke has occurred. Stroke is the number 4 cause of death and a leading cause of disability in the United States. So let's think about that. If you have diabetes, hypertension, kidney disease, you are at greater risk of having a stroke, which is the number 4 cause of death and a leading cause of disability in the United States. Again, you may have friends who suffered a stroke. You may go to dialysis and see somebody in a wheelchair and they got their arm like this and they're using one foot to move the wheelchair. Again, you may notice their speech is slurred on one side. So occurs when a blood vessel that carries oxygen and nutrients to the brain either bursts, ruptures, or is blocked by clot. It could be a small little blood clot. You may be someone that have clotting issues and have to be on a blood thinner. And if you got diabetes or any chronic condition, they have you on a blood thinner like warfarin or Plavix. Or what's the other one? Can't think of the other blood thinner. Damn, it's on the tip of my tongue. But it's so many, but it's a prominent one. This is why they give you the blood thinner, to prevent that stroke from happening. Even heart disease. And now some of you could be watching and you have heart disease. They may approach you to ask you to talk to you about something called a Watchman window that put in your heart or in your valve to prevent clots from coming through. Little filter thing. So you just gotta be careful, especially that Watchman window. Now, all like the stroke, the blood thinners, the Watchman window, all of that could be avoided with change of diet. Simple solution for some it's not, because their disease has advanced so much that the damage is already done. Now it's about management. It's about There's nothing no herbal plants right now can do if your disease advanced so much where it's causing PAD, as I talked about the other night with amputations, peripheral artery disease, or it's causing other problems within your eyes or kidneys, and the damage has gotten so much that there's no turning back. There are points where that you can turn back. And that's, again, the purpose of these education shows, the purpose of me advocating my TikTok videos, to make the public aware of what's going on. It's not just a crazy black guy sitting outside of a dialysis clinic pointing the finger at the clinic. I know that it's not the dialysis clinic's fault. Of course I know. You got people who be writing in my comments, it's not the clinic's fault. They doing the service. I know that. But I also know that I feel they have a corporate responsibility to put in the community. If you're going to come in and set up shop and dialyze people, at least educate them on what you're treating them for. There was a time when dialysis clinics, a new one will open up and they invite the community, have an open house, and you can come in and see what's going on. And that doesn't happen anymore. So again, a stroke occurs when a blood vessel that carries oxygen and nutrients to the brain either bursts, ruptures, or is blocked by a clot. As a result, as you can see in this picture, as a result, the brain cannot blood and oxygen it needs, and pieces of the brain die. Just like right here, this piece of this brain is dead. That's why it's shaded. Okay, so let's look at some of the risk factors for stroke. Approximately 80%, 80% of strokes can be prevented. 80%. Now, the other 20% probably can't, because it's probably no fault of the person or genetics or whatever the case, but 80% of strokes can be prevented. That's a high number. Though some stroke risk factors are uncontrollable. And that's where that 20% comes in, such as age and race. Other risk factors are in your control, and making small, minute lifestyle changes can reduce your stroke risk. You say, Steve, what type of lifestyle changes and reduction? For example, high blood pressure, which is the leading risk factor. High blood pressure. And how many people who watch it on TikTok, and only got one person watching, on YouTube or Facebook right now. But as this replay and you hear this, how many people right now have hypertension or high blood pressure? Some people have it and don't even know it. Don't even know it. And if you're watching this tomorrow, or when you get an opportunity, go get your blood pressure checked. You can go to a drugstore. Some drugstores like Walgreens, CVS have one of those ones you can put your arm in. But make sure you take some wipes and wipe it off before you use it. Or buy yourself an automatic blood pressure cuff so you can keep track of your blood pressure. This ain't no game. Why do you think these people are setting up dialysis clinics? No one's talking about strokes, amputations, but yet it's impacting thousands of people. You just don't know about it. You could be so consumed. You can have high blood pressure, diabetes, watching this right now, but not worried about your illness, because you could be so consumed with social media like TikTok, watching the other creators or whatever they doing, be on there talking junk or causing a lot of ruckus, but not talking anything that's going to help you manage your situation. And so when you come off that live watching somebody else that's not really adding value to your life, when you come off and you go back to the real world, you're still dealing with real world issues like diabetes, hypertension, kidney failure. That's real world. And I'm in real world doing this and in the internet world. You don't get it one way. This education has to be out there. So you're not going to see me, unless I'm not educated, I'm out with my family or whatever. But I'm going to be educating in the community. And I'm going to be on here educating as well. You're not going to see no two different people. So as I was saying, some stroke risk factors are uncontrollable, such as age and race. Other risk factors are in your control, and making small lifestyle changes can reduce your stroke risk. For example, high blood pressure, which is the leading risk factor and the second leading cause of kidney failure, can be controlled by eating a healthy diet. High blood pressure can be controlled by eating a healthy diet, regular physical activity, not smoking, and whether you choose to or not, by taking prescribed medications. Now, when I said whether you choose to or not about the prescribed medications, because we have people who feel like the medications are doing more harm than good. And I'm on the fence. I'm neither here nor there when it comes to that. Because you got to do your own research and whether you want to take a prescribed medication or go the holistic route. Okay? But like I said, at some point, if you don't address certain issues in the beginning, if you're dealing with diabetes or hypertension or kidney disease, if you don't deal with it early enough, whether it's through holistic health medicine or Western prescribed medicine. At some point, if that's not dealt with and it continues on its course, you can rest assured that you may end up on diabetes or have a medical issue such as a stroke or amputation or be on dialysis. So the American Heart Association identifies 7 factors to control for ideal health. Now, you can choose to take this or not, but whatever you do, take care of yourself and don't let this stuff just build up and you don't address it. So the 7 factors to control for ideal health: be active. Be active. Go walking. You can exercise at home. If you don't feel comfortable, if it's too cold for you to walk outside, go to a mall. They open up early and let people, you see a lot of seniors walking in the malls. Buy a jump rope. Get some dumbbells. I got a kettlebell right here. Sometimes I use it before I go on live, do my exercises. But be active. Don't just sit around playing video games and, watching TV 24/7 or laying in bed because you feel comfortable. That's a feeling. Just take some time for yourself, like someone told me, because I told them I don't never, really decompress because I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And they say you got to take some time for yourself. You got to relax. So take some time for yourself. Another factor is control your cholesterol. That's one of the biggest things is cholesterol, because that cholesterol and the bad fats can clog up your arteries. The plaque and all that comes from fat, cholesterol. And cholesterol is in a lot of, it's almost in everything other than fresh stuff. Especially if you go to the burger places or you eat out. A lot of people now, they don't want to come home after working 12, 14 hours ready to cook. I get it. Because I've been in that situation. You don't work 12, 13, 14 hours. You want to come home and get some sleep. And if you're hungry, you're going to grab something fast food. And we know fast food ain't good for us. No matter how you look at it, that fast food is not good for us. The McDonald's, the Wendy's, the Burger Kings, the Kennedy Fried Chicken, the Hip Hop. All that food is like packaged, mass consumption, because you got McDonald's here, you got McDonald's all across the world. You think they're going to have fresh hamburgers? Same with the other restaurants. So we got to watch what we're putting in our body. That's where it comes from. Like this slogan, an apple a day keeps, you remember that? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. We thought it was just some story when you were small? How many people remember that? Apple a day keeps the doctor away. A penny saved is a penny earned. Or a penny earned is a penny saved. When you implement that, when you really implement that stuff, you save money. You get one of those water bottles and money you earn, you save it and put it, and a year later, that damn water bottle filled with money like that. Or if you eat a fresh fruit each day, a pear, have an orange, slice of watermelon, an apple, a pomegranate. I like pomegranates. And if you can eat a dragon fruit, because some people can't eat star fruits because of the medication they're taking. A banana. So when you start to implement these type of vegetables and fruits into your diet, you truly spend less time in the doctor's office. So try to control your cholesterol. Eat a healthy diet. Very important. Very important. Manage blood pressure. You got people walking around right now that don't know that they got high blood pressure. They think they're walking around, oh, I got a headache. Damn, I got a headache. Waking up, got a headache. Why I got this headache? And then they go get the pressure tag, your pressure 220 over 130. That's why you got a headache. You got uncontrollable hypertension or high blood pressure. You're in the stroke range. You're in hypertensive crisis mode. And it doesn't impact you. Well, it impacts you when you least expect it. Like I said, high blood pressure is the second leading cause of kidney failure. If you want to know why it's the second, because your pressure be so high, it causes the heart to pump so hard, and that pressure coming down to the kidneys is damaging those micro arteries. You can't see it happening, but it's happening. Maintain a healthy weight. That's a big for people trying to maintain their weight. Half of Southern California has diabetes type 2. It's no secret that you see a lot of people with unhealthy weight. They got shows on it now. 1 ton life, 500-pound life. You got gastric bypass surgeries. I mean, all this from the consumption of food. Control blood sugar. A lot of people have diabetes right now. Some people know they got it, some don't. Some people who got diabetes, they got it and they don't care they got it. They're not managing their blood sugar. They're not checking it. They're not taking their medicine. Then you got some people who are managing it. But if you're not managing it, it's going to put you at a much, much higher risk of having a stroke. Then next thing you know, you're mad at the world. You mad at the world because you didn't do what you needed to do to prevent from having a stroke. As I said, 2023 is the year of information. The days of, oh, I ain't going to do it, and eating what you want. Yeah, I got diabetes, but I'm still going to eat what I want. And then 4 years later, you're dealing with retina issues. Now you got doctor's appointments to see the ophthalmologist because your eyes are effed up. Or now you got to go see a vascular surgeon because the diabetes done damaged your veins to your legs. Now you got PAD, peripheral artery disease, and you don't know anything about peripheral artery disease because you don't know that you may have diabetes, and you may have diabetes for a while and not addressed it, but you go to the doctor and tell them, oh, I got pain in my feet, my legs, oh my God. Oh, okay. I don't know what could be causing, but let me give you a prescription for gabapentin or Lyrica or whatever to help you with the pain. And you're like, damn, doc, you go back, it's still not working. I got pain in my legs. He's scratching his head. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Y'all both got your head down trying to be like, you know, you saying you can't go through this pain no more, tears coming down your eyes. And then you come back, next thing you know, you look at your feet and they black. Like, what the fuck is going on with my feet? You go back, oh, that's gangrene. Now we might have to amputate. You talk about amputate, how did it go from no pain at one time, feet are well, you walk in, everything is fine, to now you got pain, you had pain, to now you need an amputation. Like, what is going on here? And all along, it came from because you had undiagnosed diabetes and it gotten so out of hand that now it's affecting your veins in your leg. That's what this disease does. And again, that's why I'm on here doing what I do. Because you don't hardly see, if you see anyone at all on a Friday night trying to educate about strokes and kidney disease and diabetes. You're not going to see a nurse on here doing this on a Friday night. They are out at the club or at the movies or on a trip to Cabo, Mexico or Abu Dhabi or wherever they're going. Or they may be at work, as they call it, grabbing the bag. But you ain't going to see no nurse on no social media unless they're trying to sell you something. But you ain't going to see them on here like this, their free time, just trying to push that education, push it, and almost trying to force it down your throat. Because wouldn't you want to know if you're at risk for something that you didn't know about? That's just like you meet somebody, right? You out at the club, getting it all, and then you meet somebody, y'all having fun, hey, y'all having fun, right? And you like the person. Now, you exchange numbers. All right, I meet you at Starbucks. Let's have, right? And then y'all having a great time. Then next thing you know, let's go out. Come back, and you have sex with this person. And then days later, the person tells you they had HIV. After you done had sex, whether it's a man or a woman, they tell you now they got the bug, and you done already pulled the trigger with this person. Didn't use no condoms or nothing. But wouldn't you wanted to know before, even if that happened, that person to disclose to you that they have it? It's the same. So, and again, control blood sugar. You want to know. Don't just go to the doctor, know you got diabetes or suspect it, but doesn't tell you until after the fact. Until after the fact. The damage has already been done. Again, it's just like with kidney disease. There's 5 stages. 5 stages to the disease. And why is it that a lot of people don't hear about they've been impacted until they get to the later stage? Now it's there's nothing to do now. A day late, dollar short. By the time they told you, you're ready to get on the machine. Why you didn't tell me beforehand so I could have done something to stop that progress? Also, another identifiable risk factor is don't smoke, okay? Especially cigarettes. Cigarettes got a lot of nicotine in it. A lot of nicotine. Hey, Latasha, thanks for joining. I appreciate you commenting. Definitely. So let's look at the type of strokes, because this broadcast is. Let's look at the type of strokes. It's not just one. You got several types of strokes to be worried about, especially if you have diabetes or kidney disease, or even hypertension. You got 3 types of strokes to worry about. And let's talk about them. The first one is an ischemic stroke. An ischemic stroke. This occurs when a clot or a mass, often a fatty plaque deposit, clogs a blood vessel, cutting off the blood flow to the brain. Ischemic strokes account for 87% of all stroke cases. Again, an ischemic stroke occurs when a clot or mass, often a fatty plaque deposit, which comes from cholesterol. Fatty plaque deposit the same fatty plaque deposit that's responsible for the insulin not getting into the cells to do what it's supposed to do. That's why you have insulin resistant diabetes. So the pancreas is secreting insulin so it can eat the sugar, be put in the cells to be used as energy. But that same fatty plaque deposit that clogs the blood from going to the brain, that's the same fatty plaque deposit that prevents the insulin from getting in the cells. And now the sugar is building up in the blood. That's diabetes. That's diabetes. It doesn't take a rocket scientist or type 2. That's why it can be reversed. Because if you got all this fatty plaque, like in your stomach, you know, and people, you see the weight and the fat. If the insulin can't get through there, but now when you work out and you lose weight, you hear all the time people like, I lost this much weight. I don't have to take insulin no more. I don't have to do this. Because they changed the lifestyle. They reduced the weight. Now the insulin can get in the cells and put that sugar in the cells to be used for energy. That now the sugar is not free floating in your body and causing damage to your arteries down to your legs or to your eyes or to your kidneys. Let's talk about the second type of stroke, a hemorrhagic stroke. I may be saying that wrong. A lot of my pronunciation with these big medical words I be messing it up sometimes, but it's like a hemorrhage. A hemorrhage stroke results from a weakened vessel that ruptures and bleeds into the surrounding tissue. That could be what this is right here. A hemorrhage stroke. Because you see as it's spreading around the surrounding tissues. The blood accumulates and forms a bruise. Yep, that's what that is. You see that bruise? Within the brain tissue, compressing brain cells and causing them to die. For those of you who think why I'm doing this on Instagram, YouTube, to a picture on my phone screen on TikTok where it has a green screen of a brain that has a hemorrhage stroke. And I'm pointing to the picture. And then the next type of stroke, the last one, is called a TIA. You may have heard of that. So-and-so had a TIA. They had a TIA. What's a TIA? I keep hearing it. What is a TIA? Well, a TIA, or transient ischemic attack, that's what it stands for. TIA, transient ischemic attack, produces stroke-like symptoms. A TIA is caused by a clot, but unlike a stroke, the blockage is temporary and usually causes no permanent damage to the brain. TIAs are often called mini strokes. I'm sure you guys heard of that. I had a mini stroke, or so-and-so had a mini stroke. Well, a mini stroke is the same as a TIA, transient ischemic attack. Now, approximately 15% of all strokes occur after a TIA. So you may have a TIA before you have that major stroke. And a TIA is a medical emergency. You better bet it. So let's talk about, as we wind down, how to identify when someone may be having a stroke and what you can do. What you can do, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, to recognize and to remember the sudden signs and symptoms of a stroke. And the best way to do that is use the acronym FAST. F-A-S-T. FAST is an easy way to remember the sudden signs and symptoms of a stroke. And if you didn't know that now you do. And I want to teach you, so if you're somewhere where you don't get a lot of education and you at risk factor, or your loved one has risk factors of having a stroke, now you could be armed with this information to recognize and to act due diligently to help resolve this problem that may occur with either yourself or your loved one. So when we talk about FAST, again, an easy way to remember the sudden signs and symptoms of a stroke. FAST. F stands for face drooping. Does one side of the face droop, or is it numb? Or good, twisted down, or is it numb? Something like that, where you can't speak and it's drooping. Ask the person to smile. If they smile, you'll know, because they're paralyzed on one side and you can't control that muscle. A stands for arm weakness. Is one arm weak or numb? Like you try to fall down or you can't lift it. Ask the person to raise both arms. Does one arm drift downward? He's trying to lift it. One arm just keeps drooping down. S stands for speech difficulty. Is speech slurred? Are they unable to speak, or are they hard to understand? Ask the person to repeat a simple sentence like, the sky is blue. Is the sentence repeated correctly? The sky is blue. The sky is blue. Ask them to repeat that. If you think they may be having a stroke in their face or their speech difficulty, ask them to repeat that sentence repeatedly. The sky is blue. The sky is blue. Because when you're pronouncing some of these syllables, you got to use pretty much everything, your muscles. And T stands for time to call 911. It's time to call them. We know you don't want to wait in the emergency room 15 hours, but if you're having a stroke, you're not going to wait that long. They're going to rush you right back there. If the person shows any of the symptoms that I talked about, face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, it's time to pull out your cell phone and call 911. Even if the symptoms go away, call 911 and ensure they are transported to the hospital immediately by ambulance. That's the fastest way to get the medical care they need. Don't try no magic herbs or this or that. Go to the hospital because you may need thrombolytic therapy. Be like, Steve, what the hell? What's thrombolytic therapy? That's where they give you this potent clot buster, streptokinase. And it's supposed to dissolve clots. Give it to you IV. While it's hanging up, it's running in. So almost 1 million people each year suffer a stroke in the United States. That's a lot of people. Be prepared to identify a stroke fast with the free, they got an app for it. All right, but just know how to recognize if someone is having a stroke. And that's using the acronym FAST to remember the sudden signs and symptoms of a stroke: face drooping, arm weakness, speech slurred, or speech difficulty. T, is time to call 911 if you witness or experience any of those previous signs and symptoms. So, that being said, did it right on time. Got 58 minutes under my belt. So I'm about to end this live on YouTube and Facebook. I want to thank Latisha Gardner for coming on and commenting, and definitely did a lot. And yeah, the example, the running man of Bmore City, he said that's why he runs. He was diagnosed with kidney failure. Absolutely. I don't know him personally, but yeah, the running man in Baltimore, the old guy with the head, right thin, runs all throughout Baltimore. Even he has kidney disease. So now this doesn't matter who you are, you can get hit. It's just unfortunately people of color hit hardest. So that being said, I'm signing out of TikTok. I'm signing out on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you guys for watching. It's been a great show. I didn't see my usuals on here, but that's okay. Please share this broadcast after the broadcast so other people can hear the message of Blacks, diabetes, kidney disease, and stroke. With that being said, I'm Steve Belcher with Steve the Kidney Nurse. Take care, you guys. Stay safe. Have a good evening and a great day tomorrow. Peace and blessings. I'm out.
some ground, don't get caught in the mosh pit. Fuel to the fire, ain't nobody can stop it. Trouble in my city, but you know I'm across it. Got a 40 on my hip and I'm liable to spark it. Throw down these hits, my click is indivisible. I aim, you duck, I squeeze, now you invisible. I'm not afraid of getting physical. All these different chemicals are fogging up my visuals. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we notorious, we ain't no runners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we some warriors, they ain't called gunners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Put on my strap, put on my beam, put on the map, put on my team. Take out every motherfucker in between. Know what I mean? Better myself, better my aim, better my rap, better my name. Killing rappers on my hang, I'm by their chains for the fame. Never